Tupac is one of the most influential figures in music history, widely recognized for the impact he left on the industry and culture. Before his untimely passing, the rapper and actor often used his platform to speak on political and social issues. However, whilst his music addressed problems with policing, Tupac suddenly found himself at the center of a shocking $10 million lawsuit accusing the Oakland Police Department of police brutality, false arrest, and imprisonment.
Next thing I know, my face was being buried into the concrete and I was laying face down in the gutter, waking up from being unconscious in cuffs with blood on my face, and I'm going to jail for resisting arrest.
On October 17, 1991, the music video for Tupac's debut single was set to premiere on MTV Raps. Having released the track a month earlier and making his first movie appearance back in February, he was beginning to make money and planned to stop by the Oakland Union Bank to withdraw cash. However, at 12:45 p.m, before reaching the bank, Tupac jaywalked across the intersection of 17th and Broadway in downtown Oakland, where two police officers, Alexander Bojovic and Kevin Rogers, suddenly stopped him and blocked his path, demanding to see identification.
Walked across the street to my bank, police stopped me, asked me for ID. Where you going? Let me see some ID. That's exactly how they stopped me. Where you going? Let me see some ID. Let me see some ID.
In response, Tupac showed the officers his passport, bank book, and social security card.
With my pocket, got the ID. I got 3 pieces, my bank book, social security card, my passport.
Which led them to repeatedly question and harass him about his name.
They was like, well, what's your real name? And I was like, that is my real name. And he was going, what is your real name? And I just stopped answering them because, I mean, how stupid can you be?
Escalating tension further when one police officer remarked, "I can't believe your mother named you that." Moments later, Rogers told Tupac that he was being charged with jaywalking, which prompted him to question why he was stopped for such a minor offence and why the officers harassed him about his name.
They were charging me with jaywalking, so I was riffing, arguing about why would they charge me with such a petty crime.
In turn, Bojovic told Tupac he needed to understand his place.
My niggas like, don't worry about what we doing, you're gonna learn your place in Oakland.
And cautioned the digital underground rapper that as police officers, he and Kevin Rogers had the power to abuse their authority, to which Tupac replied with profanity and requested a citation for jaywalking.
I ended up saying, well, y'all, give me my citation and let me be.
However, when Tupac asked for his citation, Bojovic unexpectedly grabbed him by the neck, pulled him into a chokehold, and recklessly threw him to the ground, where Tupac's face struck the sidewalk, and he helplessly pleaded with the officers that he could not breathe. But unfortunately, Tupac's desperate calls for help were ignored, and as a horrified crowd watched from afar, Rogers restrained Tupac, whose face was repeatedly slammed into the pavement by Bojovic and choked until he lost consciousness.
As soon as I said, y'all, they grabbed me, slammed me, put me in the chokehold, banged my face against the concrete, and I was unconscious.
Minutes later, with his face in the gutter, Tupac recovered consciousness and awoke to both police officers repeatedly kicking him and ordering him to get up.
I woke up, cuffed up, with my face in the gutter, with a gang of people watching me like I was a criminal.
After which, he was handcuffed and seated on the sidewalk, awaiting transportation for 20 minutes. In the meantime, Tupac was verbally harassed by the two police officers, who repeated their comments about him needing to understand his place, and, disturbingly, imitated the sounds of Tupac gasping for air whilst being choked, leading Tupac to remark that the officers had slave master mentalities, which Rogers terrifyingly liked. Upon the arrival of transportation, Tupac was driven around Oakland, before being jailed for resisting arrest, and eventually released on bail following a 7-hour holding period.
Then I spent 7 hours in jail. I got bailed out by my people. Ironically, this is the day that my video was being debuted on MTV Raps. I missed that because I was in jail.
After which, he returned home to his stepbrother, who captured images of the aftermath. When all was said and done, Tupac was furious. He compared the police's repeated harassment to being trapped like a caged animal.
I'm talking about true-to-life incidents, and it makes you a violent person. It makes me a caged animal.
And, in that state of mind, demanded his manager take action against Bojovic and Rogers.
I told my manager that I'm not going to write another rhyme, I'm not going to go to another Grammy show, I'm going to be a criminal until they deal with this. And he said, okay, wait a minute, I'll get a lawyer, we'll file suit, and we'll take care of it the right way.
Warning that if nothing was done, he would put his music career on hold to get revenge on the Oakland Police Department for their actions.
If not, what I was going to do was get my hands on a weapon, and I was going to go up to the precinct where the guys work and just start doing some violence.
A few weeks later, coinciding with the release of Tupac's debut album, his lawyer, John Burris,
Good morning, my name is John Burris, and I am here today with my client, Tupac Amor Shakir.
Announced that his client had filed a $10 million lawsuit against Alexander Bojovic, Kevin Rogers, Police Chief George Hart, and the City of Oakland for multiple violations of his civil rights, centered around excessive force, false arrest, and imprisonment. However, in opposition to Tupac's version of events, Bojovic and Rogers claimed that Tupac walked circles around them, aggressively threw hands in their direction, and was repeatedly complaining and shouting profanities, essentially provoking them into a difficult arrest, during which he swung his arms around to resist. Confusingly, amongst approximately 20 independent witnesses, only Nicole Kozycki supported Bojovic and Rogers' version of events, in which Tupac swung his arms around in resistance. But even she confirmed that Tupac did not try to fight the officers, discrediting their claim of self-defense. Notably, during his deposition, Kevin Rogers revealed that Nicole Kozycki was married to a member of the Oakland Police Department, an officer who was a friend of Bojovic, whom she had been speaking with moments before this incident. Further, it was alleged that the City of Oakland and Police Chief George Hart had received countless reports regarding the repeated use of excessive force by their officers, and despite these complaints, the likes of Bojovic and Rogers were still assigned to predominantly African American neighborhoods, where they were known for their violent behavior. But ultimately, following the tragic events of October 17, 1991, and countless legal proceedings that left Tupac exhausted, the City of Oakland offered him an out-of-court financial settlement for $42,000, which he spent on lawyers' fees and a car.
They settled with me. They gave me $42,000. I had to pay my lawyer a whole bunch. Bought a car. I only settled because I was tired of going to court. I could have won more.
Nowhere near the $10 million he wanted to spend on houses, a care home, and a support center for victims of police brutality.
And if I win and get the money, then the Oakland Police Department is going to buy a boys' home, me a house, my family a house, and stop police brutality center.
Tupac settling for $42,000 was no surprise, especially when considering the Oakland Police Department's lawyers' unsuccessful probe into his personal life, in which they requested copies of writings by him and the details of every argument and physical altercation he was involved in. But regardless of the seemingly low settlement figure he received, within the context of the early 1990s,
Any dollar from any police department is good money.